Today we are looking at the new Fortnite Victory Royale series, Cluck. I got this from Amazon for $24.99. You can see some of the things here on the box, but anyway, I say let's get this figure open. Cluck comes with the 4 accessories you see here, beginning with the Drummy's dual harvesting tools. And these are pretty cool. You can see this one's got a bit of a rip. This got a big chunk of it, and you see a bone, the other end of the bone sticking through. They have faces, which is a little bit concerning, wondering what Cluck has been eating. And what is he using for harvesting tools here? And the Hatchpack back bling, try saying that 3 times fast. Looks like a regular old roundish egg-shaped bag with a piece of egg chunk on top of it. I guess this covers the top, so then you can open that up and put stuff inside. Not really, I'm talking about like in-game, not here. This does not open. There is a small soft rubber piece sticking off here, so you might want to be careful. That might rip off if you're a little bit too rambunctious, maybe. I don't know, but it's kind of a cool looking. I like the silver painted there and the nice little red splotches or the red paint there. And a primal shotgun, and I really like the looks of this with this purple section back here. It's all kind of a gunmetal gray through here, and then this brown section. Yeah, it looks... I like some of the primal weapons in the game. I know some people didn't like some of them, but I do, and so I really like the look. This is actually a really big, chunky weapon. Pulling out the tape measure, you can see that this figure stands just a little over 6.5 inches tall. Let's see how he stacks up next to some other figures. Here you can see the figure next to a G.I. Joe Classified figure, a Marvel Legends figure, and a Star Wars Black Series figure. Next to a Spartan Collection figure and a DC Multiverse figure. Next to a Jazwares Legendary Series figure and a Legendary Series Brawlers figure. And finally next to other Hasbro Fortnite figures. This figure has about 31 points of articulation, and it looks really nice, and I like all the attention to all these. It looks like a whole bunch of individual feathers all over this. The interesting thing about this figure, just like the character, just like I got the eggshells all over the place, around the waist, around the top of the head, the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads are softer rubber, which will allow the arms to rotate around just nice and just fine. And you can also lift those arms up. One design thing I'm curious and interested about is how the arms and the legs down here kind of look like drumsticks. It's kind of cool and interesting at the same time. So the head has some pretty decent articulation, at least it did when I looked at it earlier. He can look up that far, look down that far, so he's got a good range. Can rotate around. You want to be careful. It's pretty easy to pop this off just by rotating it around, and whoa, there it went. It just like flew everywhere. I hadn't realized that I'd purchased the explosive variation of this figure, but as you can see, there's a ball joint up here at the top for the neck. This piece comes off really easy, and then you can see the mechanism that is there for the neck and how well that works. It just goes back and forth quite nice. There's no rotation. It's just the rotation that's on the ball joint. So that's kind of cool. And this piece does have a little notch here indicating which way to put it on, so you don't put it on backwards. Then the dog tags will slide over that portion, and you just put the head back on. It's come off on me a couple times, so that's why I wanted to point that out. So the torso, he's got a little bit of motion there, but not a whole lot. Side to side, it's not a whole lot, not really. He can rotate quite easily at the torso and at the waist, so kind of have like a double torso or a double twist there. So I'm not sure how well that works out. He's got a single pinless elbow right there, and his arm will go up that far. Rotation and a hinge at the wrist, and then down here if you want him to do the splits, because of his chicken bone or his drumstick legs, works out really well. If you want him to sit down, he's going to be doing like an old Star Wars figure and kind of spreading the legs as you have him sit down. He has a double pinless knee. There we go. And it's about like that. Now, one thing that's interesting is there's a rotation on this left at the boot, this left leg on the boot cut. On the right side, there is no rotation at the top of the sock. It's a little weird. So maybe it's there. but I'm just too nervous to twist it. Either way, there is a rotation between the leg and the feathers up here at the thigh, so you can still get that to work. And there is a rotation, or a pivot and a hinge at the ankle here. But one thing to watch out for is when you go to bend this left leg, because of the rotation here at the boot cut, it kind of like, if you grab it down here, it's going to try to separate right there, so you just want to be careful about that. This is a heavy figure. It's not a little light one at all. Because of the slenderness of these legs, trying to get this figure to stand, depends on how you weigh him down, can be a bit challenging. You can get him to stand, but just be careful there a little bit. And while we are talking about balancing, let's go ahead and do some gearing up. This is what the Hatchpack back bling looks like. It sticks out a little ways. It's actually almost as deep as the character is thick. But what that's going to do, because this is a heavy back bling as well, it's going to add a little bit of weight onto the back of that figure. So it's going to want to lean backwards. So when you get that backpack on, you're going to want to probably lean the figure forward, something like that, just a little ways, to help him stand up just fine. Let's see. Next, we're going to do the shotgun, the primal shotgun. I like this one. I hope we get some more of these primal weapons. There we go. No, there we go. So the primal shotgun is also heavy. This is a heavy figure, and the accessories, except for these drummies, they're kind of heavy. They're bulky and heavy. So you want this figure to hold the gun. You're going to have to, well, for one, properly get it in the hand, and you probably are going to need him to hold it with a secondary hand over here, even though, look how thick that gun is. So you're going to, if you want him to actually hold it with his hand, you're going to have to really spread these fingers out to wrap it around. Otherwise, if you don't want to stretch out those fingers, I just recommend having it sit there on the other hand after you properly get this figure balanced with the accessories. I'm liking this figure. What do you think about this figure? Didn't think I'd ever care for an action figure of this character. It's not one of my favorite in games, but it sure gives a very interesting action figure presence. But there we go. That's Cluck from the Hasbro Victory Royale series. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful and informative. I will bid you farewell and see you in the next video.